welcome. And today I have a very exciting stock that I want to share. This stock, right, I believe is going to be the next NVIDIA. Now, why do I say that? Because NVIDIA has been benefiting a lot from the AI boom. As there's more and more demands of people using AI, the GPU, which is a particular chip in the computer system that helps to do a lot of processing, especially in terms of images, is required. There's high demand, and that's why NVIDIA shoot up. Anyone knows who is this gentleman on the right side? You all know his name? Now, Jensen Huang, right, is the CEO of NVIDIA. And because of his brilliance, because of the way that he's pushing things, and I also realized that nowadays the CEO needs to look cool one. See, leather jacket somewhere, right? And I can tell you, somehow it affects perception. This is a very powerful PR. Now, a lot of y'all think that stock market, the business do well, the stock will go up. Not necessarily true. There's also a PR component of it. So I'm not saying that PR is everything. It must be backed by fundamentals of a business. Anybody knows who he is. His name is called Hock Tan. And he is the CEO of this company called Broadcom. And you guess what? Recently, Meta even invited him to join their board of directors. Now, what does this mean, guys? Do you know what does it mean when a Broadcom CEO joins a Meta board of director? The board of director has the ability to direct. In case you all didn't know, right, the CEO answers to the board of director. And when you talk about director, they direct the direction of the company. That's why it's called director. Wow, this is an English lesson, right? But the key thing is this. Can you see that there's a lot more synergy? If let's say I'm the director of Meta, Facebook, and I'm running a company called Broadcom. If you cannot connect two together, right, it's just like last time in the olden times, the king of the south married the son married the daughter of the west, or something to the effect. When they marry each other, right, there is going to be a lot of synergy and the kingdom becomes a lot stronger. Why am I excited about Broadcom? I want to share with you that this company, a lot of the investors is only beginning to remember this company. And quite a number of the investors says that, right, Broadcom should replace Tesla as the Magnificent Seven. If you have heard of Broadcom and you've invested in Broadcom before, can you all please help me type the ticker symbol in the comments? So this particular company is not a company to be neglected. So Broadcom, what does it do? Let me explain to you as simple terms as possible. So Broadcom, right, they got this particular slogan called connecting everything. They say that Broadcom, it is connecting the whole entire world. So what do they mean by connecting? Let me explain to you the picture and you will see why I think it's the next NVIDIA. They talk about access, service provider, and also a data center. So this is a picture that you remember first. Basically, when you text your friend on WhatsApp, when you call for a taxi, you can see here, when you actually connect from business to business, send email, all this, right, the data is moving, correct? When you text a particular WhatsApp, say, hey, shall we meet up this Thursday? How did this information go to your friend's handphone? Okay, it is actually through network. And Broadcom is a king in terms of the network chip making. Now, let me explain to you the business model of Broadcom, right? And when we invest into a business, it's important to understand what they are doing. You can see that roughly they have two big portions: infrastructure, software, and semiconductor solution. Before we go into details, I want to explain to you something. They don't create their own chips. Meaning to say they don't manufacture like TSM or Intel. They have this thing called foundry, they are factory. They don't really have those big factories. What they have is designer. They are the brains. They design how the chip is supposed to be. They design the software. Software don't really need to create using a foundry, right? They design the particular, I would say, the ideas behind it. Okay? So later I'll also share with you how they differ from NVIDIA, because they're saying, hey, are they a competitor of NVIDIA? In fact, the answer is no. They are complementary to NVIDIA. So as AI demand keeps increasing, NVIDIA will boom, Broadcom will also boom. This is the Broadcom AI network solution. In fact, it is most of their solution. They have a particular quite a number of products. Okay, quite a number of products. Tomahawk, Ramon. They have a Jericho tree. Now, what are all these things? I attempt to explain to you. So you can see that they say, okay, this Jericho tree, it is a AI fabric. It's a switch schedule Ethernet network. Now, if I go to ChatGPT right now, right, and I type something, example, I want to prank my boss and get a promotion. Now, so this is the information that I'm sending. When I press enter, what happens? Now, you must understand, right? This whole entire GPT is connected to the internet. This information must be sent to OpenAI, which is the company. So the software of OpenAI, they have all the GPU, all the CPU, all the computing power to go and try to go and search the internet for all this information. In order to send my information all the way to OpenAI, which is ChatGPT's company, there needs to be a transmitter. Okay, there needs to be like a railway. It's like a train. You imagine I type the information and a train will take my information and then travel all the way to OpenAI. That particular train and the railway is what we call the network. Does it make sense so far? So it's like a network of train. Every time I want to, let's say this is me in the middle, I want to send it to OpenAI. I type in the internet, they will send to OpenAI. And OpenAI, ChatGPT, they will send the information, or they will actually pull a lot of information from everywhere. And they formulate, they begin to think, oh, what is the best way to answer this? The thinking process is the algorithm of the software of OpenAI. And in order to think and those kind of things, they need a software like GPU, which is like the like NVIDIA's GPU, all the chips and things like that. Okay, so this is the brain. They are the brain. Now, Broadcom is not the brain. Broadcom is the network. They send the information here and there, and they pull the information back and deliver it back to you. So far, does it make sense? Okay? So in terms of Broadcom, right, what's so special about them? They have all this particular thing called Tomahawk. They have all this Jericho tree, right? In terms of just now, we saw this thing called Jericho tree. What it means is, right, this is the control station. Like they say, you know, trains, when they move, sometimes another train want to cut across another railway, then they have to control it. So Jericho tree, right, is a superior control station where they can say that, okay, this is how I can switch, this is how I can switch, so that the information can pass even faster. Otherwise, you get a jam. If you get a jam or they clash, then accident happens. So they are always designing a better ability to actually control the whole entire traffic. Example, even like air traffic, you can think of it like an air traffic controller, like a train station traffic controller. Okay, so this is what Broadcom does. This is one of the things that they do. Okay, another thing that they do is like you see Tomahawk, right? They actually increase the bandwidth. When we talk about the bandwidth, it's like the railway or the rail track. Okay, this one may not be the best example, but think of it as a highway. So the highway, there's 1 lane, 2 lane, 3 lane, right? When they increase like 3 lane to 4 lane to 5 lane, then the traffic will be smoother because the cars will not have to all merge into 1 or 2 lanes. So this is what they are always doing. But remember something, they don't really manufacture the railway. They design how the railway is supposed to be. This is their main services. Okay, so they also do data storage. They also do like all the like when talk about internet switch, is like how they like control the traffic. This is their main service to the whole entire world. So can you all see why when AI increases in demand, Broadcom services is also going to increase? Can you all see that? So as I mentioned, it's like the control network. It's actually a very simple business. So I was also asking, what's so special about Broadcom? I realized that they are specializing in network. That is the key special thing about them. So there are other competitors, like even Intel, they also design chips, correct? And also IBM and quite a number of other competitors, they do that as well. But they are not as specialized as Broadcom. Broadcom is the network specialist. This is the whole key idea. And they spend billions of dollars into R&D for improving the design of their network. They spend about $5 billion every single year. In fact, if you talk about Intel and IBM, they also spend a lot. I think IBM spend even more, like 100 over billion or things like that. But the thing is, they don't specialize it on network. So it's a specialization that makes them powerful. They are so powerful that you can see all these other companies, can you see that? Google, Intel, Meta, all of them uses Broadcom services as well. So as I mentioned, NVIDIA, to a certain extent, some portions they are overlapping in terms of services like creating or designing chips, right? But it's largely complementary. Right? So it's very, very powerful. Imagine, right? Your client is Amazon, is AMD, is Tesla, is Microsoft. And the cool thing is this, they are very well diversified. This is something I really like about this company, because in event, right, one of the companies say, oh, I'm going to jump to your competitor. Doesn't really matter. They still have a lot of customers. Can you all see how strong this is? This is one of the like powerful thing, and I realized that their most powerful thing, right, is they got this thing called patents. So Broadcom got 23 over 1,000 patents. They also license it to their competitors to go and serve other people. So regardless of which network you use, right, very likely Broadcom is making a piece of the income. How many of you would like to have a company like this? If you'd like to, please help me type in the comment below. Imagine owning a company whenever people use internet, whenever people continue to use AI, things that need to transfer data and information, you are making a piece of the pie. I do not think the usage of internet or AI is going to get lesser. Even though the teachers in school tell the children, hey, don't play so much computer games, don't use so much internet, read more books. But nowadays, even all my kids, the school also ask them to buy laptop and buy tablet to go to school to use. Okay, so I think it's not going to slow down. It's only going to increase. Okay, so this is something that is pretty interesting. there's a lot more things you can understand from Broadcom, right? You can just go to their Broadcom Investors Relation. I'll put this in the link in the description later. You can listen to their webcast. It is actually very insightful. They talk about how the whole entire network works. I couldn't understand totally, so I also take some of the information, ask ChatGPT, and ask exactly what this means. And the train analogy and stuff like that is actually given by ChatGPT. So I want to give credits to it. It's not really I thought about the train idea. So I was thinking, hey, can you explain to me in a layman term? And they explain it in the train manner. They say that Broadcom is like the train controller. They also design the railway. They even design the train. The train is the one that sends the humans there, correct? Correct. Sends the information there, the data there, correct? Whereas NVIDIA, you can think of them as the train conductor, the person driving the train. So they are very smart, like a driverless train. But the brain behind the driverless train is more of like supported by NVIDIA. Whereas the train design, the railway is supported by Broadcom. It's actually created by Broadcom. Does that make a clearer picture? Okay. Now, so Broadcom being so interesting, a few more things that I want to share with you guys, right? They serve 80% of the Fortune 500 companies, okay, which is basically the bulk of their income. So 70% of their annual income comes from the Fortune 500 company, which 80%, okay, so quite a number of numbers. 80% of the 80% of them are licensed to 5 or more software solutions. This is a beautiful thing about Broadcom. License means they are not really the one having to serve these Fortune 500 people. They design, they think, they implement it out, and if you use my design, you have to pay me. That's the beautiful thing. They don't even have to do the hard work. So what does it translate to? It translates to very high profit margin. Do you know why? Because if you're the one serving them, you're the one having to go and like create the railway, correct? So every time people pay them to use their ideas, their license, right? That's it. Okay, it's just for the license. There's a lot of fixed costs and things like that. The main cost that they have every year is R&D. Okay, so let me share with you their finances, and then we talk about the valuation, which now we're very interested. Is it a good time to buy? It really went up so much. I think there's still upside. So let me explain to you my personal thought, and you can share with me your own ideas as well. We can see Broadcom's revenue is increasing steadily. Okay, the net income is also increasing steadily. You can see, right? It's very solid. Now, the thing that it was a bit concerning is the book value per share. This is something that I always look upon very, very closely, because the book value per share, right, tells me how much money they are keeping in the company, so that with all this money, with all these assets, right, they can grow their business further. Now, you can see that their book value per share, it is not consistently going up. So I went to dig further, right, and I realized that that's because they use a lot of their cash to acquire other companies. I realized that their boss, remember I showed you the guy who looks like the Asian elderly gentleman, right? I'm super proud because he's actually one of our neighboring countries' citizen, which is from Malaysia. Okay, so Hock Tan, right? You know his background is not really in IT, not really in chip making. His background is in finance. Okay, he has worked on the CFO in as a CFO in a lot of other companies, and now he's on board of Meta. That's because, right, a lot of people saw his brilliance, right, in a merger and acquisition. So his ability is to go and buy solid companies, put into the same company, and then strategize, synergize, and then make a lot of company. So this is something that I look forward to. Okay, so book value per share, concern, but the main reason why it drops is because they use money to go and buy companies. And when they buy companies, why does the book value per share drop? If let's say I spend 10 million to buy a company that's 10 million, then the book value doesn't change. Can you see that? But the reason why it drops is this. When you buy another company, typically you buy it at a premium. So let's say this company is $10 billion in the stock market. If I want to buy it, I have to buy it at 12 billion or 13 billion. So that increase in premium, right, that I actually pay for, the premium that I pay for will affect the book value, and it causes a drop. This is accounting. If you're interested more in all this accounting, how it affects book value, right, it's interesting to go and read about it, because it helps you to understand the business even better. Other than that, now the disgusting part. Can you all see gross profit margin? Super disgusting, right? Now, where else can you find a particular company where the profit margin is 70%? Gross profit margin, 70%. No other company does that. Okay, so even if Intel, NVIDIA, they don't have this kind of high profit margin, and the net profit margin, right, is near 40%. Increases over the years, not very stable initially, but you all can see the uptrend is increasing. So other things that we take note of is the dividend payout is also increasing steadily. Now, this is not a lot because it's only, I think, about 1-2%. Their stock price is about a few $1,000. Okay, and their payout ratio is very high. Reason being, right, they are a cash cow company. They don't even need a lot of money to expand, but they do spend a lot of money in R&D. So imagine this: you are very branded. People want your design. You continue to like create all these I would say, but because some of the designs, right, once they patent it, they can license it for the next 10 years. So it's a very, very strong cash cow. However, it is not a really cash cow in the sense it cannot grow. It's a growing cash cow. That's what I really love about it, okay? So you can see fundamentals very strong. And the key thing is this, you can see that their interest coverage. So they don't have a lot of debt as well. Now, they don't have a lot of debt or they can pay off their interest quite easily. Okay, what does interest coverage mean? In case you guys don't know, interest coverage means, right, how much money they make versus how much interest they have to pay every year. So your amount of money that you make, right, can pay 10 times of your interest. Means that the next 10 years of interest is covered already. So if they can pay interest for the next 10 years, there's no big concern that the next 10 years they may go bankrupt or they cannot pay their interest. You only go bankrupt when you cannot pay your interest. So key thing is don't borrow money with high interest. Now interest rate quite high, so make sure you all spend wisely. Okay, Ken? Now, valuation, very important. This is the portion that I want to say that is a little bit of the downside because Broadcom is indeed overvalued. Personally, I like to look at this particular thing called price to book value. So let me just show you this. The past 5 years, average price to book value is 7.75. Right now is 8.55. Can you guys see that it is overvalued? Now, but I also notice a particular trend. I'm trying to judge whether I am sort of like becoming a little bit biased. Is it I'm trying to find a reason to buy? But I can see that the price to book value is increasing over the years. Can you see that? And the reason why it's increasing over the years is because the stock market is seeing a lot more value and a lot more relevancy of Broadcom in this particular era, where they are serving companies that is producing AI related stuff or IT related stuff. So last time they were a bit forgotten until like nowadays you see AI, IT is pushing the whole entire market up because of the demand. So that's why these companies' valuation spike. The price to book, the multiples, market is willing to pay. Instead of paying 3 times the book value, okay, book value means their assets, their whole entire net worth of the company. Typically, last time market is willing to pay 4 times, then 5 times, then 7 times, then 11 times. Then during the COVID period, we know that stock market goes crazy and they just pay any price. Right now, it dropped to about 8.55. So this 5 years average, right, is taking 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, these 5 years. But I can see that the whole entire valuation of the market has already gone up. So 8.55, in my opinion, may be in fact a fair value, may not be an overvalue. This is one point that I was thinking through. Then I went to counter check. But when I went to counter check, oops, okay, I show you something. I went to counter check other valuation methods just to make sure as an investor, we do not be too, I would say, biased towards our own analysis. So when I went to counter check from Guru Focus, right, that's where I realized, okay, they are really indeed overvalued. Can you see the Guru Focus value rank? Can you see the Guru Focus value rank? I really want to share with you the whole thought process so that it is like you can also have the ability to come up with your own conclusion. So if you all prefer me to share my thought process, also write in the comment below, or like how else you would like to present this, okay? So you can see the value rank, right, is 1 out of 10. Means that in almost all aspects of the word, PE ratio, price to book ratio, everything, right, it is overvalued based on industry and based on history. And if you look at this, I like this visual a lot. So if you look at this particular visual of the Guru value, okay, this is the range of the Guru's focus value. Okay, this is overvalue, this is undervalue, this is the fair value. It is grossly overvalue. I think there's still a lot of upside for Broadcom. And allow me to explain my own analysis and feel free to let me know what you think. Should we use option strategies on AVGO? The answer is right now is not an extremely good idea. Okay, if you want to, let me explain to you what you can do. You can see that right now, the implied volatility percentile of Broadcom is 79%, which means that the options are expensive. So when we choose option strategy, right, the implied volatility percentile is one of the most important factor. So if let's say the IV percentile is high and options are expensive, so maybe just to test everybody, primarily, so what should we do? Should we buy options or should we sell options when options are expensive? It should be a credit strategy, meaning to say, because it's expensive, it's a good time to sell and get premium. So this may be one of the things. But I want to share with you something very, very important, because for Broadcom, the price is, as you can see, so if you're going to sell a put, say, okay, wow, let me sell a put on Broadcom. It is 1,282. So if you sell a put, you have to buy 100 Broadcom. You add 2 zeros behind, that is $128,000. Make sure you have that money before you sell a put. My personal opinion is this. Okay, for me, depending on your budget, you can set aside maybe 1 to 2% to buy some of Broadcom shares. This is my opinion. I think there are few things going in from Broadcom, because I think that Broadcom is still very under the shadows. They are not in the limelight yet. We do not hear a lot of news about Broadcom. I believe in the days to come, they will become more and more, I would say, being spotlighted. I'm going to suggest really buy, if let's say you're setting 5% as a budget to buy Broadcom, which I don't think you should buy a lot because it's overvalued, correct? Now it's overvalued, don't buy a lot. You can buy 1 or 2 stocks, which I have one thing like I mentioned, it is not being spotlighted. Number 2 is this. I think there's a very high chance they will do a stock split. Now, when they do a stock split, right, what is going to happen is there will be more volume coming in. Stock split means this. Now, one Broadcom shares is $1,200. It is expensive for a lot of people to buy. So there is a very high chance that there will be in the talks of dividing these stocks into $129. So every one stock is just like a $10 note, right? You change small change into 10 $1 notes, or maybe 5 $2 notes. So now with $2 notes with small change, it's easier to buy and sell. Now, when they have a stock split, historically, data shows that when it happens, the price typically swings up because now there will be a lot more people who are able to buy the stocks. So Broadcom, solid company, I'm going to buy a bit, just a small nibble. Can you all please help me type nibble? Okay, so it's not going to like sell your house and buy this. I believe it's going to be strong. I believe that if you give it time, even though it's overvalued now, even if it drops, okay, you can actually wait for it to recover. Now, if you want to go for a rather shorter term view, okay, to be safe, right, allow me to actually show you how I come up with this whole entire thing, okay? So this is called Trading View, and AVGO, there's this function on the left side here called Fibonacci Retracement, okay? You click on it, you can go to the high of the stocks and then swing all the way down to the low, okay? You shouldn't go all the way here because you can see here is already sideways. So I'm going to type from here to here. Let me adjust it later after I... Okay, you can see I can adjust it. Okay, now I want to show something amazing about this Fibonacci. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But for Broadcom, it seems to work very, very nicely. Why do I say that? Let me show you this. Okay, and then we can use this as a benchmark. Are you able to see, right, for Broadcom, using this Fibonacci retracement, a technical analysis. Now, it works because people are using it. Okay, so it works when it works, right, it shows that people are actually using this Fibonacci. Let me zoom in even further. Okay, so can you see that there are various levels of this Fibonacci? Are you able to see that Broadcom almost very nicely, right, fall on this? Okay, let me just adjust it a little bit more. Okay, great. To me, they fall in very, very nicely to these levels now, okay? So you can see it bounce back, it bounce up, then swing around this level, come to this level, drop here, goes all the way up here, drop here, and then come all the way up here. So if I pull it even further, right, can you see that it almost lands nicely? It acts as a support and resistance line. So it hits a particular support line, it jumps out, and then now it's at another support line. So what is going to happen is this: if you are doing a short-term trade, for those who are more interested in short-term trade, there is a possible idea. You can enter Broadcom at this particular level. Okay, you can wait for confirmation for it to go up. Okay, wait for this particular level. If it drops here, right, okay, if it drops down here, this is your downside, your risk. If it goes up, right, if it breaks through, it can go all the way up here. Okay, so this is the upside. So this is the range right now. You can, if you enter somewhere here, it's either stop loss here or you hit a profit target here. Now, this is for those who are more interested in shorter term trades. For me, I mean, for those who know me, I'm not a very short term investor. I rather look long term, and I think that Broadcom's, I would say, long term prospect is very, very high. That's my opinion. One thing I believe why Broadcom, it is you can see that the analysts, right, a lot of them put strong buy and also hold. You don't see this in almost a lot of companies. Okay, you can see this Broadcom. Can you see? IV percentile very high, don't buy options. You're going to kill yourself. Don't do that. Okay? Now, but I can see that the interest in Broadcom is getting higher. So the ratings strong buy. You see, like even Apple, right, also don't have 100% strong buy one. Okay? And Nvidia, okay, Nvidia not bad. Nvidia, you see, it's like, that's why I say it's the next Broadcom. And if you look at Tesla, there's a lot of mixed ideas on. So seldom do I see one particular stock. Wow, almost all the analysts from all over the place, from a Wall Street Journal, from a lot of the banks, a lot of institutes, all say strong buy. So if this happens, right, I also see a lot of the gurus, a lot of the, I would say, big fund managers, right, also starting to buy Broadcom. So that's where it piques my interest. Okay? So I do hope that you guys enjoy this analysis. If you do, Now, one thing I ask of you to do is to go to the Telegram group and also let me know what is your thoughts about Broadcom. Then we have more discussion there. And also let me know what kind of other stocks you want me to analyze and whether you enjoy this. So I know what kind of direction I should do in terms of actually providing value to the whole tribe. Okay, so that's all I would like to share. Let's go to the Telegram group and let's discuss there. Okay, Ken? Alright, so I do hope that you guys benefited. Doesn't mean that people go and vote, you all must go and follow. Okay? Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.